Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm here with Meghan Athavale, amazing entrepreneur from Manitoba, and she's here to tell her story. So, Meghan, how did you become an entrepreneur, and what does your company do?
Our company kind of started by accident. We make interactive display software. So we have a complete sort of custom platform for creating content for touchscreens and projectors, large format interactive displays primarily. And the way that it all got started was my co-founder and I used to get together after work. We were both working at a web design company, and we would just make um, our own touchscreens and things after work for fun. And we ended up designing a interactive environment for a party that we were throwing, and somebody showed up at the party, took video, and the video went viral, and all of a sudden people just started asking us to make software solutions for them. So we started the company to provide those solutions.
So, what's your company called?
Lumo Interactive.
Awesome, and it went viral again, did it not?
Yeah, last week.
Wow. Well, tell
Yeah.
us what happened.
Um, I was boarding a plane on my way home from. I'm actually living in Toronto now, but the company is still based in Winnipeg. So I was just flying home. I go back every month, and my phone started to buzz. I was getting like thousands of emails all at once, and just like notifications were lighting up on Facebook and YouTube and all over the place. And it took us about 4 hours to figure out what had happened. There was a fairly large parenting magazine had run a video about one of the projects that we've been working on for a couple of years. It's an interactive projector for kids. So those projections that you see on the floor in malls with fish that swim away and the water ripples when you walk over it. We've been developing quietly in the background a toy that kids can put in their rooms to make their floors interactive. And this parenting magazine posted a video about it, and it got just like a ton of attention all at once. I think we're up to like 26 million views. We've received 100,000 some odd messages in the last week, so
Wow.
it's been pretty great. Like we're getting a lot of attention for the project now.
Wow. So, take us the run through of one of your products. I've seen, how it projects onto a floor, and you can play soccer and whatnot. Take us through what else it does for people.
So basically, what we sort of specialize in is motion and gesture tracking. So if you picture like those displays in Minority Report and stuff like that, that's the kind of technology that we work with. But we're primarily interested in providing experiences that allow people to engage playfully with a message or a brand. So basically, like the way that most people use it is for advertising right now, and it can be anything from like the display in the window changing as you walk past a store to walking over a section of floor and having it reveal an image. And then we also have a lot of games like soccer and stuff where you can kick a ball around. Lots of like collecting games where you run around the floor trying to collect things and avoid other things, that kind of thing. So yeah, there's 160 some odd games in effect.
Right. So, Meghan, take us what it's like to be an entrepreneur in your shoes right now.
I think like it's always been sort of the same. It's really exciting. There's a lot of challenges. The biggest difference between being an entrepreneur now and being an entrepreneur 4 years ago is now I know all the stuff I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to ask for help,
Yeah.
and that makes a huge difference. And another really big change is that, obviously, like once you hit a point where you're cash flow positive, the decisions that you make change, and the directions that you want to take the company in sort of open up. And so for us, like uh, making sure that we stay focused is that's the main part of my job.
Yeah. No, that's huge. So,
Yeah.
what's next for you right now? Obviously, you're at a peak moment in terms of marketability right
Attention.
now. Yeah, attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what's next for you guys?
Well, I'm flying back home in a week and a half, and we're sitting down and having exactly that meeting to
Hmm.
to discuss what we want to do next.
Yeah.
But basically, like when something goes viral, and this has happened to us in the past, it's never been this big,
Yeah.
but it's happened to us in the past, so we kind of like have we predict what's going to happen afterwards. And there's usually like a week or so of, hardcore tension where you're basically just trying to keep up with all of the requests and questions. And we've been converting people. So even though the projector that was shown in the video isn't on the market yet, we've been converting people to software. So making a lot of sales. And I think the next step is to follow up with all of the people that reached out in terms of like investment and partnership. So that'll be the next 3 or 4 weeks or so of my life. And then just really refining the business strategy, because for us, this particular wash of attention couldn't have come at a better time. We had a whole bunch of meetings scheduled with potential manufacturing partners anyways, so it kind of just like it creates more urgent it's a lot more urgency for them, because they know the market's ready. So,
and the ball's in your part now you can play around with that, right? So that's huge.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, we started getting our patents granted this year, so that's really like
it's huge.
It's made a huge difference in terms of legitimacy, and it's also kind of put us on the map as like global leaders in this technology. So that's made a huge difference too.
Huge. Yeah, no, I definitely see big things for you there, Meghan. What kind of advice can you give to anyone who might be in a technology field such as you are, as a potential entrepreneur, and might be sitting on the fence of maybe saying that I don't know if I can do this?
I think the biggest thing to remember if you're going to get into, like, technology is kind of a funny animal. It's a little bit different than retail or making a physical product. Because with a physical product, you're investing your time in a lot more logistics. Like you're looking at your supply distribution chain, you're constantly reevaluating where you can best optimize and save costs and stuff. Software is a little bit different. Technology is oops, hang on. Did you lose me?
No, you're still talking.
Okay, that's fine. I have like notifications popping up. So
no worries.
Technology is a little bit different than a physical product in that I think the playing field changes a lot more quickly. So the rules change, and being capable of staying on top of it is part of it's one of the key metrics of success. So I think my first piece of advice to people that are thinking about doing it and aren't sure if they should is find somebody who has, find somebody who's done it successfully, and either start a company with them or make sure that they're committed to being on your board, so you have somebody to like go to when you're not sure what to do next, because that's just always going to happen. Like no matter how good you get at something, you're always going to hit these roadblocks where you're not sure what to do next. Right.
So let's lead into the next question. Tell us one of your most challenging obstacles that you had to overcome and how you did it.
I would say funding was always our biggest obstacle, and I think that's very common particularly in the prairie provinces. There's not a lot of investors, and the investors that are there are like, they're very risk adverse, and they tend to stick to like, I don't think Saskatchewan's all that different from Manitoba, but in that like most of the investment is going either into med tech or into agriculture. Because those are the big industries. And so I think for us, figuring out how we were going to get financing, we had to be pretty creative about it, and we really had to focus on like generating revenues as quickly as possible. And the way that we did that was we talked to customers. So we got a small business loan. We spent the first year and a half giving away our software for free, because it was it wasn't like fully featured. It was a very simple application when we first launched it. And then just talking to every single person that used it to find out what they would be willing to pay for, what features we could add that would make it worth their while, and just getting to know who our market actually was. Because we didn't really have any benchmarks. There was nobody we couldn't compare ourselves to another company and say, this is they have these customers and we're going to take X amount of the market share. The way that we overcame it was just talking to a lot of like thousands of people and asking what we should build and what they'd be willing to pay for it.
I think that's genius. The markets is always right in terms of what they want, right? You're supplying them.
Yeah, and especially if in our case, the software is very much still aimed at a do-it-yourself tech savvy market. And it's a low-hanging fruit to some extent, because they tend to be, it's sort of like crowdfunding something. Early adopters tend to be a lot more forgiving and to feel a lot more invested in your technology when they've been with you from the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you're really busy, Megan. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you have thousands of emails you probably have in your inbox coming in right
I'm
now.
almost caught up.
Oh, awesome.
I'm really close to being caught up. So,
Do you have any last words for any, like I said, entrepreneurs who might be on the fence right now that might be, needing some extra inspiration from someone who's done it right here, right now with Megan? What kind of words do you have for them?
I think like the most important message is that if I could do it, anyone can. I dropped out of high school. I don't have an MBA. I don't have, my family's awesome, but they're not like well connected. I came from I grew up in Thompson, like as far away from a big city as you can get. Um, but what I did have was passion. Like there was something I really wanted to see through. And I think, you know, yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. And if you have an idea that you feel strongly enough about that you're going to be able to sweat it out. Like you're going to be able to face the times when you're not sure how you're going to pay yourself, when, you're stressed out because you have to pay rent, but you're not making enough money. Like you have to be willing to face those times. And so you need an idea that is going to carry you through that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you so much, Megan, for your time. I know you're very busy, like I said. And where can we find you if we want to get a hold of you?
Probably the best way to contact me at this moment is through the Lumo Interactive website. So it's lumointeractive.com. And that's our main company website. So it shows like all of the big projects we're working on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Megan. Thank you guys for tuning in. So you know where to find her. If you have any more questions, check her out at lumointeractive.com. Thank you so much, Megan.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kendal.